Hi everyone, welcome to Podcast Your Journey with Shruti. This is episode 3 of Wellness series. Today's episode is about mental health. We talked about physical health in the last 2 episodes. There's always so much to learn about our inner worlds. Super excited to meet and interview Sophia Anthony Sammy. Whether she's coaching one-on-one or speaking at events, creating powerful content, Sophia's mission is clear: to help people tap into their inner strength and live with purpose. Hi, Sophia. Thank you so much for taking your time to meet with me. I'm curious to know what would have been the background and as long as you're comfortable sharing your history or what inspired you to take this path.
Thank you, Shruti. I'm so glad to be here for the opportunity. Just to introduce about my company, Purple Mindset. My journey has been incredible. And although I believe all our purposes are being planted when we are born, I would say I started realizing after coming to the US, I just did what everyone did back in my country. Like I worked in banks after getting master's in business administration. And after coming to the US, when you are stripped of your identity, like your job, your friends, your family, I was forced into this self-discovery process along with juggling motherhood and marriage and whatnot.
You're talking about how your life was before you started this journey. And I just basically wanted to capture your entire journey. So feel free to open up as much as you want.
I just loved languages. I was blessed to be born in Coimbatore, learn Tamil really well in Erode, and then I moved to Mumbai in third grade. Perfect time to start Marathi, Hindi, and I would just love writing in any language. So I didn't realize, but my calling was pulling me, but I just followed the path that was set by culture. Okay, you either become a doctor, engineer, or at least do an MBA kind of a thing, get into the banking sector. On and off, I would feel something is off and I want to pull away from that sector, but I would still push myself and didn't know what else to do. Mm-hmm. But coming to the US was the turning point where I got a forced break from that sector to think differently. Blogging, writing in a very small way and then blogging on Blogspot, never really understanding this could be my career. 17 years ago, I just did what I was passionate about. And after 10 years of learning and writing about different psychology and mindset stuff, I just wanted to take it to the world because it really helped me personally and my family. So I just published my very first book in the year 2019, Awakening is for Everyone. Just a compilation of Dr. Brené Brown books and other people who inspired me to get a head start for people to read. And I really wanted to take science-backed tools that helped me in my mental health journey. And so I went ahead and got certified as a life coach and other science-backed modalities like CBD coach practitioner. I tried to learn more about mindfulness techniques to really bring self-awareness in my one-on-one sessions, especially. And then I started back in Wisconsin after publishing my book with moms. And then gradually I started expanding with the word of mouth about all the benefits they were seeing when it comes to mindset shift. We moved to North Carolina where I could collaborate with fellow coaches and with another company based in Florida virtually because it was during pandemic time. I learned a lot during those times, workshops, podcasts, and so on. So then we moved a couple of years ago to Washington State as a family. And I just, the idea of Purple Mindset sparked in me that if it has moved so many people in different levels, moms, youth, and families, and I want to take these tools and techniques out in the world, make it accessible, affordable, and just initially I was battling with my own limiting belief, like, am I competing with psychiatrists, therapists, psychologists? But when it comes to mental health tools, this is my take. Yes, some do need diagnosis, treatment, or medication, but everybody needs tools and strategies of mindset. So the more, the better. So I'm here as a Purple Mindset coach. I conduct one-on-one sessions on Zoom, but I also take public speaking opportunities at schools, cultural events, wherever. I just love doing it. And now, since November, I have been hosting a radio show on a Tamil radio called Radio Tool on Sundays at 5 p.m. The show's name is Manasallam Ketupar, loosely translates to Ask Your Heart, where I share mindset and mental health tools for people at Radio Tool.
Yes, you can find it on App Store. Yes. That's great. How was your childhood like? And did you just get into mental health out of personal experience or just curiosity?
pretty much everyone's journeys because of their childhood patterns, which I didn't realize. And there is no right or wrong. We just, as a child, we observe a lot of patterns based on our experiences, especially difficult experience. So I'm an only child. So I have my own pattern of being highly protective and having this inner pressure of performing in all areas. As when I was in India, I didn't know any better because everyone else was doing the same. But as I moved here, those limiting beliefs started bubbling up. There is a huge list in psychology called negative core beliefs, and the common ones are I'm not good enough. So these things will get triggered in high pressure areas. High pressure need not be like we are going, fighting a war or something. High pressure could be like you didn't sleep for days and your child is just not giving you that space and you just feel so, and like I said, it's dirty diapers all over and you want to catch up cooking and are you feeding the baby right? This triggered me like I'm not a good enough mom. So what I felt was the external circumstances might look like a trigger, but who's carrying the ammunition? We are carrying these inner belief systems. I'm not good enough. I am a bad mom. I'm a failure. I'm damaged. All these things are causing that rage or meltdown and all those, unhealthy expression. That's when after I approached for just a basic, trying to figure out like, I want to be happier. I don't want to be, crying all the time because I want to do better for my child. The whole motivation came after I became a mother, because I caught myself that my own beliefs, I didn't know all these names at that time, but I knew like, if this is just a baby, if I need to take good care of that baby, need to be patient and kind. And as they're growing into the toddler stage, it's very easy to just snap on them and I would feel like that's not the right thing to do. And I'm not that person either. Basically, everyone would say like, you're a very kind and warm person. So what is it bringing that inner monster in me? So I had to figure that out. And back in Kenosha, I used to go to this mom's group. Kenosha, Wisconsin. So yes, back in Kenosha, Wisconsin, I used to go to this moms group at St. Mary's Church where they normalized therapy and mental health awareness. Like Kelly, a friend of mine, she just said, I'm not able to sleep. I need to see my therapist. So that's when I felt, we can seek help for something that we think like, we are just sad. We don't have to seek help. We just not sleeping well. We don't have, or we're just struggling raising kids. We don't have to know. We can seek help just like our physical body is hurting for more than 3 days. I mean, even in Tylenol, it says more than 3 days of fever goes see a healthcare professional. Then why do we hurt mentally for more than 3 days and do nothing about it? So that was my, I would say, turning point when it comes to, because my children kind of awakened me that, I need to do something differently. And my mental health journey began when my children were really, really young, and I dabbled with different therapy, and I really benefited from cognitive behavioral therapy tools and EMDR processing and just various tools that I could really identify my own limiting beliefs, which was stopping me from behaving a certain way. Even now, I wouldn't lie that, I am completely peaceful and calm. I don't get angry or I don't get triggered, because I believe it's all about the awareness. Right now, my kids are teen and a tween, so they do trigger, right? Like when they become a teenager, they're still pushing the boundaries, but I have to remember they still need my compassion, support, and love and guidance, for which I need to do my inner work, tune into my inner awareness. So even like, let's say, there
are points when you get triggered as well and lose your cool.
Yes. So I would say that no parent, I can say like, okay, your goal is you cannot lose your cool completely, but being aware reduces the number of outbursts.
The journaling part of it and all that, I literally started getting to know about all those problems. It's been probably 6 years, but I knew the meaning of it and how to use it as a tool to improve my mental health really only like 3 years back. And it has been a game changer for myself. And like you said, we wouldn't know how much we need until we get started. So I didn't know that I needed mental health coaching to know about what is mental health and if I need it at all. I came to know that I have a lot to work on myself when I started this journey. So I was super naive when I moved to US. I didn't know anything about mental health. And if you get to study about it, you slowly improve yourself. And I would still call myself as a beginner in the journey of mental health. And that's why I'm here to learn more, trying to meet people and talking about it. Mental health is not just coping mechanisms. There's more to it. people, when they move into adulting, is when most of the triggers come up. Is the stress a bit too much for moms?
I would say, like, thank you for bringing that up, because it's not just related to parenting or motherhood. Any stress or any pressure, it could be even a breakup, a relationship breakup, or
Right.
it could be you lost a job or something like that. So any pressure on your mind or your life, it's actually bringing up your belief systems that was formed years ago, and we have been repeating it. And it's time for us. Like I said, triggers are also opportunity. Like, it's come up. Okay, now we can see, and that's why I love journaling. That I put, every time I would get triggered, I would just put it on a paper for me to work on it in that week. So it's again an opportunity, and it's not. It's parenting is just one area of pressure, but challenges can be anything, like health. Like, somebody just got diagnosed with something, and they have their stuff coming up, like, why me? Like, what did I do wrong? Like, and all those belief systems come up, at least for some time. Grief can bring up stuff in there, in them. It could be self-blame, and again, anger, and all those stuff. So it's parenting. Yes, it's a stressful area, but there are so many stresses equally hurtful, and an opportunity to heal from triggers.
Yeah. Breakdowns are lesser. It's more like, it's not controlling your emotions. It's more like channelizing that into a positive way. I'm also hearing theories about, like, negative emotions are not to be avoided. What's your take on this? And also, like, how do coaches manage it?
Yeah, this is a very power-packed question, and I love addressing this because you're really, you nailed it. Like, it is advised that you don't bottle it up or suppress for a longer period of time. Yes, we do bottling as a human. Let's say we have an interview now, and we can't be processing our emotions now, sitting and crying or whatever it is, right? So bottling a little bit and then going home and processing is the healthy way.
When I had this experience of living with a joint family, like, it's not that I hated the time, it's just I love to be around, but I didn't know that I needed the me time. So how long, like, people can go on for years. I finally was able to get my me time after 2 months, but like, people undergo this, in-laws, when they live with in-laws and stuff, for years and years. What would you suggest for them to, like, convince their family members to get me time? Or, like, any practical tips for them?
Yeah, what you're talking is, I would put it in a one word called boundaries. We need to, boundaries is something, it sounded so harsh to me first, so it was hard for me to set it. But boundaries is something, loosely, I would like to explain that if you want that person in your life, you set boundaries. So that made me feel, oh, I'm actually being kind to that person by setting boundaries. Like, if I want you in my life, I'll say, hey, Shruti, I cannot cook dinner. We are going to order pizza tonight. Like, that's all for the meetup. That's all I can do. So I'm setting a kind of a boundary because I want to meet you, not like people pleasing you. Like, I just cook 7-course meal and I'm exhausted and I don't want to see you again, kind of a thing, just to give you an example. So that's what is happening with family members, especially because we are not trained or modeled in our culture to set boundaries. It's been masked on kindness, hospitality, respect for elders. You can love and respect your elders along with taking care of your own needs, which is me time, which is taking time for your passion. There is no right or wrong. Like, you could be needing more me time than another person, and there is no comparison there. You need to fill your bucket for you to pour it to other people. So communicating boundaries compassionately has to be practiced. So saying no and discussing ahead of time if possible. This is the plan for the next 2 months that you guys are staying here. Or even setting boundaries. Hey, it's, your way of living is completely different. Instead of 6 months, can we just come in for a shorter duration? So whatever the person feels right, that they can be kind and compassionate to the guests, family, as well as for themselves. That's what I would say, the first step, setting boundaries, because if we run empty, it's going to eventually affect our families. So we are not doing good in that way.
But boundaries are being taken as a no, like they want to cut off.
Yeah, that's what I don't like, the definition that even it looked like that. But boundaries are the most compassionate thing.
How do you make people understand that you're not saying no to the relationship, any kind of friendship also, right? When you say that, they also get hurt and they carry the hurt, build resentment, come back at you. It'll look like they are imagining that they are setting boundary, but they are actually building resentment and getting back at you for something that you told months or years back, right? How do you see that? So you have your peace, but what do you do if it's your family doing that?
Families are tough, like, it's that's why it's very triggering to deal with families. But you brought a very important point, like, even the family members who don't know what boundaries are, if suddenly you're going to say, hey, I need to, the party is running till 2 a.m., but I'm done at 8 p.m., I need to go sleep. You can try your best to communicate in the most compassionate and respectful manner, but you still don't have control over how they are interpreting it. And so that's where our inner work comes into place. Like, we are still operating, including I'm work in progress. We are all operating, I would say, in people pleasing. Still, we are all like recovering people pleasers, especially women. If I can, or just I've seen even most of my clients back in Wisconsin are non-Indians, and they are also facing the similar stuff. And I'm really taken by surprise and shocked that it's something with the cultural stuff. And so people pleasing is what makes us really worry, like, are they disappointed? Like, well, they can feel disappointed. Yes, oh, I thought Shruti would stay till 2 a.m., but she left at 8 or whatever. But the disappointment is also an emotion that they can feel. And if they don't know how to process disappointment and turn into resentment and come and attack you, yes, it's time for you to set boundary. Like, I see the first trick I use with people, I call it trick, it sounds so bad, but then
You have to.
yes. But if somebody is just escalating, just like they're just upset, I go in a lower voice, I go in the upset, and I say, I see you're upset, or are you mad at me? Like, something like that, and it just baffles them, because I'm not fighting with them or getting upset.
Go on a rant?
That's right. So I just, in that case, okay, when you're ready to calmly talk with me, I'll come back. You just leave the space. So it depends, like, how difficult, like you said, is it like toxic kind of, or is it difficult? Is it like, something it's difficult, but you still have ways to deal with it. So there are different layers to dealing and setting boundaries.
We have several science-backed approaches that one of them you just mentioned recently. But before we even go into that particular technique, I want to zoom out a little bit and talk about the categories of techniques and reasons for different techniques. For me, for a long period of time, I've only thought coping mechanisms are mental health means coping mechanisms. But I'm sure you use the knowledge to be aware of your feelings, become more composed and everything, for processing. Are there categories or like that? And then I want to know what techniques fall under which.
Yeah, that's really a great question, because for me, different techniques worked for different things in different periods of time. So cognitive behavioral therapy technique, when CBT, right? I probably started with that back then. Those are just mostly like putting the thoughts down on paper or talking with a mental health professional, and they are giving you a different narrative for that story, because we suffer more because of the narrative that we put in our head. When we focus on our limitations, when we focus on our constraints, we are missing out the other good stuff or opportunities that we can really see more accurately and process and respond and make decisions. And that's what I feel, in my own personal experience, that cognitive behavioral therapy shifted my focus from, let's say, I'm not good enough and things like that, and asking questions like, what are the evidences? Let's say fear, cognitive behavioral therapy really helps with anxiety and fearful thoughts, oh no, what if my dog gets lost and when I leave him for a party break in my backyard? Well, my backyard is fully fenced. That's the evidence I write. So, and he's a 60-pound dog, can't squeeze in that tiny little thing. And when was the last time he got lost? So those challenging of thoughts is what CBT, the thinking errors is what I try to notice in whether I'm going for any therapy session or when I learned about CBT, is sometimes our anxiety part, even though it was the fear and anxiety is for a good reason, to protect us, to make us keep us safe, it overworks, or I call it like it works overtime, that it's not useful, it's just bothering us for no reason. So let's say, like, your mom has gone for a walk and without a phone, and she's from India and she has no idea where to go, and then you cannot find her for about an hour, and immediately we are not like, we are wired to put negativity first, because evolution wise, we had to survive. So we are wired to think negative first. So we're going to think like, oh, did she get lost, or did she get kidnapped? And like, I think like, in all different areas, like, or did she, yes, is she hungry, and she, did she faint or something like that? So those are the areas that CBT helped me, with that example, to challenge that, like, what are the evidences that she could get lost? Even after evidences, my heart is still racing, right? For when I think about the worst possible scenario. So that's when I use coping mechanisms of either deep breathing, taking a shower, going for a walk. Because when you change your physical, I love Tony Robbins' way of saying, when you change your physiology, your mental health changes. So anytime I cannot handle it, I have to change my physiology. If I can go out for a walk, it is. Otherwise, I'll take a shower.
Yeah.
Type of approaches. So that's my take, based on my personal and professional experience, challenging that thought and helping change the narrative, finding evidences. And then EMDR, I personally loved it when I experienced it. And
that's CBT, whatever
we saw. That's right. EMDR, I experienced it back in North Carolina, and there are different ways, but basically what it does, the full form is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. It sounds complicated, but this is, again, I put everything in a simple way. Like, psychologists see me like, what is she talking? But I like to make big stuff simple. So they are just using these bilateral movement, like, whether you are, whether they are, sometimes my therapist used her fingers to move, and then sometimes, they'll tap my knees, like, or they do a little butterfly tap or something like that. So you are trying to process your past memories with that, with the bilateral movement. And sometimes it helps me with coloring pages. Maybe I'm like, I might do DMDRing me or something like that, because sometimes our traumatic memories gets locked inside. Mm-hmm. And when it's been brought up, and then when the bilateral kind of movement takes place, we are able to come up with more accurate narrative. It could, and and I have not seen, I myself have tried EMDR, and I share this technique. Of course, I put a disclaimer, like, it's not a therapy, but this is how it's done after I got certified in that. I just share it as a tool, not as a therapy or something, because it helped me and I learned about it through a certification. I've not seen a single people not cry, because we always end up believing when we are a child, like, something really worse because of our experiences. And we are able to provide compassion for our past self, like you said, your old self that didn't receive at that point of time. You are basically reparenting your inner child through all these mindfulness techniques. So there are different approaches, but sometimes we need words, and sometimes we need these mindful way of thinking and reprocessing. And I really learned a lot from this course called, from a website run by Thais Gibson. She has this personaldevelopmentschool.com where she talked about how the power of subconscious mind. So there are different ways, and this is my recent approach for myself and for everyone. I'll give you an example, like how subconscious mind is more powerful than the conscious mind. Mm-hmm. Can you relate to this feeling that you have set like a New Year resolution, and then you forget about it after 2 weeks, you're back to your original self? Mm-hmm. So that's because our subconscious mind has certain belief. Mm-hmm. So your conscious mind is thinking, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. And then the subconscious mind believes like, well, I have so much work to do, and then it follows a pattern. So it's very important to change our subconscious belief And I was really impressed in that course. That she said that subconscious mind does not understand words, so that's why words of affirmation also didn't work like magic for me. It helped like for like a first step, but after a certain period of time, this new way that I learned from this course really helped me, because subconscious mind understands emotions. Why did the subconscious mind wire it as like I'm not good enough or I'm a failure or whatever? Because some time back there was a huge difficult or traumatic experience even that like fired up this new neurons that said that, and it stayed in our mind, or even they say in our bodies. So I feel that after reading that course or understanding, and she said like you need to wire the opposite by actually bringing up instances that proves the opposite. Let's say I have an I'm not good enough belief system. I have to really think of the experiences where I felt I'm great and I am good enough. And I have to
like challenging the evidence.
And that's
evidence.
Like it's like in CBT you're challenging, but what I learned from this course was you're actually this is my way. I just close my eyes and I think of the moment. Let's say I think of this moment and I feel very connected, very loved, and very all the warm fuzzy feelings. So this is the moment I will think about and really imagine how my body felt even externally. Emotions are internal, but the sensations are external. You'll feel all the emotions, like for different feelings you can feel on your body. So basically feeling all those sensations or emotions, and I have to repeat it. Repetition is the key, rewires the subconscious belief. And then I start believing slowly, I am good enough. I am loved.
So, the same gym example. How do I make my subconscious mind listen to a program that basically?
I would say there are two ways to approach it. Yes, the level one way is you're tricking your subconscious mind by taking small steps. Even if you don't have, let's say you had a long day, you still have a choice to do something for a minute, stretching or yoga or whatever is possible. And you still feed your mind that you took care of yourself today. But if it's consistent, then there is something about boundary issue, probably like, okay, you're prioritizing everyone else's needs, whether at work or at home. Okay, I need to, or maybe there is a conditioning like, oh, I have to eat this food only, and you are challenging the conditioning as well because you want to go to the gym. Like I can grab that something healthy from there and I can hit the gym. I don't have to cook every day at home like I'm conditioned to back in my culture. So that you can challenge and can be tricked by small steps action. It gets baffled when you think about like you got to work out for 1 hour, but you can always say like, okay, I'm just going to go for 5 minutes on a treadmill here at the gym. And you, most of the time, you will end up doing a little bit more than 5 minutes. So that's the trick.
Remember, one night I never got sleep. I just wanted to hit the gym just for 10 minutes. So if I get some movement, I'll be able to sleep. And then ended up working out for 1 hour.
Yes.
And I had a really good sleep.
Yeah, that's one thing, but I'll share one of my personal experience too. Again, I learned from the same personal development course where they talk about needs. Humans have 6 human needs, and our top 2 needs drive our behavior, and our top 2 needs, basically what we lacked in childhood. Like the needs are like, in any order, like certainty, emotional connection, significance, growth, variety. And so let's say I'm the only child and I was very protective, so I will have a need of growth. I want to be free, I want to grow, I want variety, I want to go out, like, so something like that. So everybody, whatever they lack to balance it, it becomes like a top need. So for me, my top need became emotional connection because of my own move from south to north, and hardly any chance to make long lasting friendships and all. So whatever is the reason, my top need is emotional connection. So I actually tricked my brain by saying that I'm going to the gym to see this friend, or even like I just make like a temporary friend, like, in a group fitness class, and I actually tell them, like, what, can I message you that I'm coming Tuesday, Thursday, Friday this week? Because if I tell you, then I'll come. And of course, they need to be regular people too. So I find somebody who comes regular to those classes, and 90% of the time it has worked for me, because I'm catering to my emotional connection. It comes across differently for different, even like stay-at-home moms who will feel like so invisible. Like, I clean 10 times a day and my partner didn't appreciate me, kind of a thing. Yes, it is a legit need, but imagine that woman also has significance as top need. It's going to be debilitating. It'll actually hit the relationship. This will take me a little off track, but I have to touch it, because the top two needs, when two people are in relationship, it's very important to know what are the top two needs. I'll give you an example. Let's say I have an emotional connection as top need, and let's say my partner has a certainty as a top need. And so I want to talk to him and spend time with him, go for a walk with him, holding his hands. For him, it'll be like, I need to make sure everything is okay. Is the job market okay? Is the stock market okay? Kind of a thing.
That can never happen though, right? There's always some problem around.
Right. So let's say they are seeking certainty, and one person is seeking emotional connection. Imagine they come together. This woman will feel that he's always like daydreaming about stock market and not paying attention to me, and this man will be thinking, yeah.
I mean, I'm still not convinced by that thing about certainty. Like, not everything can be perfect.
Yes.
The market is changing, stuff around us are changing. We can only control the things that are under control. Like, how would they manage?
That's a very good question. So that's why we have to identify other healthy ways to fulfill the needs. Now, I'm pretty sure that in our example, that person had a very chaotic childhood, that he's having a certainty as his top need. So now we cannot control the stock market, but any other simple routine will make him feel life is certain. So creating
that
can
space. Be
yes.
tricked.
That can be tricked. Okay. Just create whatever he feels certain, creating a space, separate space for him, creating giving a space for him to have a me time or whatever, it depends upon the person. So filling that certainty need in a tiny way, like same thing, emotional connection.
Do it in a smaller scale.
Smaller scale, and the brain will get tricked. Same with
subconscious mind.
Yes, subconscious mind gets tricked with all those tiny ways of fulfilling it. Same thing with emotional connection. If this woman, for example, wants to fulfill all her emotional connection with one partner, he's going to feel exhausted. So maybe she has a gym partner, like I said, in a group fitness class, and she goes to a mom's group and, find different buckets to fill her emotional connection. Now, the subconscious mind, if the needs are not fulfilled, it will try to fulfill really quick. And that's when we end up in having unhealthy coping mechanisms. Going back to emotional connection, if my emotional connection is not fulfilled, let's say it's COVID times, I couldn't meet my friend, I couldn't do all these interviews and nothing, I'm just feeling I'm starving for emotional connection. So the quickest way the subconscious mind will try to find emotional connection is scrolling Instagram, and that too, the videos are like funny mommy videos, dog videos, where I feel connected.
Yeah.
So same thing. If somebody's certainty is shaken, they can try to seek control by nitpicking at home and things like that. So it is actually a sign that they need to fulfill with some other healthy way.
Mind blowing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can keep going deep dive into the need for variety. If somebody's top need is variety and they are just put in a job, you have to sit in one place and do nothing, and you can't travel and you can't experience, it's going to be really debilitating for them.
My thing.
Yeah.
Is that called?
Variety. Need. Yes.
Mine is variety. Guys.
Yes.
Probably doing 100 different.
Yeah. So they need to experience. Let's say there is a genuine need. I say that person needs to pay bills, and they need a 12-hour job or whatever it is, demanding job. They can still brainstorm and figure out a way how can they fulfill by doing small things that fulfills that variety need, and they are not feeling so empty.
What are the small things you suggest?
Again, when we brainstorm in our session, we come up with either a daily 5-minute routine that makes them feel that they are doing something different. They, instead of just making coffee at home, they are going to different coffee
normally
shops.
do that.
Oh, there you go. So you figured out how to.
Without even knowing about it, actually.
Your brain, your subconscious actually did a wonderful thing. Instead of, okay, you're just, now your variety need is not fulfilled and it's trying to figure out in an unhealthy way. It's doing a wonderful thing.
What are the unhealthy ways? Yeah.
In variety, let's say, the worst, that the case is in relationship. It shows like, because sometimes I've seen when I'm couples coaching and all, they misunderstand when one person has a variety need.
Yeah.
They are dissatisfied in their marriage or relationship, thinking that it's boring. But if their needs are fulfilled in a healthy way outside their relationship, is flourishing. So
yeah.
Before I saw Wheel of Emotions, I thought like we just can feel happy, sad, and mad, kind of 3 emotions. But there are 87 plus emotions. Wow. I love Wheel of Emotions because it's very important to identify as accurate as possible what we are feeling. Let's say, identify what you're feeling right now. We go from the inside out, kind of. Are you feeling happy, sad, angry, fear, or surprise?
I feel tired after a long day.
Yes. So you can actually keep narrowing it down, and that's when you narrow it down. Let's say sometimes they don't fit in 87 plus emotions. So if you don't have tired here, it can narrow it down to something like physical exhaustion. Yes. Physical exhaustion, or even narrow it down to mental exhaustion and physical exhaustion. You can identify your needs there. Like, do you just need sleep, or do you also need a soul pump up? Like, you need to do something for yourself and then sleep. So we need to identify our emotions as accurate as possible. Disappointment is a very interesting emotion. A lot of people don't like to feel disappointed, but it's just a simple math. Disappointment is expectations minus reality. The gap is disappointment. But even though you feel really irritated with that, it just if you go ahead and accept it, instead of just pushing it away and getting more irritable and angry, when we push away our primary emotion, it turns into anger or something else. So once we accept, yes, I wanted to finish my work at 4 o'clock and they just drag me till 7 o'clock, but it's normal to feel disappointed. You have just practiced acceptance even for a little bit, and then disappointment helps you find different strategy to fulfill your needs. So even disappointment is communicating like, oh, I need to figure out how I can do the rest of the things that I planned that I missed today. Sadness, for example, or depressed even, is telling you that you're missing out on something really important. So that's why I like to narrow down like what my clients feel in my sessions. Like, okay, sometimes they just come and say, I'm tired. But then when I narrow it down, it goes down to grief, even I've seen. And then, oh, okay. So then to heal from it, what is the message that's carrying? Okay. And that's why I admire Wheel of Emotions. And we can practice this as young as even like kids, like, so they need, this is called like the emotional landscape. If we all kind of become very aware of what we are really feeling, I think most of the time we will not have meltdowns or outbursts. This is pretty a common way of rewire or training our mind is we need to write down things that we can control and things we cannot control. And why is it important is that when was the last time you felt stressed? I will throw a point here. Does any incident come?
A few hours back when I had to meet a customer with like a business topping issue, and I also had your meeting coming up very soon. So yeah, I was juggling between how do I handle the situation, if I should text you or let you know that I should cancel, or I should like let the customer know that I have a meeting coming up, so I need to drop off. But then I think I ended up just doing a little bit of both. I also let you know about the situation, so you were aware, and to find out what your ideas were, and you very well you handled it very well by saying just take your time and you'll wait, and that gave me some relief. So I had a quite a bit of relief when I was talking to the customer, and I was also open to resolve the issue, and I was also providing options for him to like. But I kind of handled it very well. Like if I was my old self, I would have panicked. I would have destroyed all situations possible.
Yes, thanks for sharing and being so vulnerable, because now we'll compare your old self and new self. With your new self, you literally practiced what I was going to teach is whenever we get stressed, it's 100% of the time we are focusing on what we cannot control. It is either other people's thoughts, like, oh, what will Sophia think of me? Or like, is this even going, whatever it is, whatever is not under your control is where our focus is or our stress is. But you trained your mind to focus on like, okay, what can I do now? Like, okay, I'll just tell Sophia and I'll ask my manager, like that. Focusing on the next tiny steps is under your control. If nothing can be changed, you can even take deep breaths until the thing passes, right? Whatever that stressful situation. So the more we train, like when we get stressed, even now it sounds so funny and silly. Like I'm at the traffic jam and I'm like, dang it, like, and then I'm like, oops, that's not under my control, but I can listen to a podcast that's under my control and text my client that I'll be late. That's under my control.
I know. I can never relate to the example that people take when they talk about traffic and worrying to rush somewhere. I've never felt that in my life ever.
Yeah.
Like I always enjoy traffic.
That's awesome.
Maybe because I was not brought up in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Like I love listening to songs, being in the moment, sitting inside the car, watching the people and cars moving or like different stuff happening around.
That's really, you have already practiced mindfulness when it comes to dealing with the very common complaint that I see.